TV, I'm about to get ready to tackle a deep psyops, y'all. And what I'm about to do is about to tackle the whole aspect of the Neanderthal and the whole, we already know all about the human evolution bullcrap, but I'm about to tap deep into this, into why, like I said, it's a reason why they say everything. You know what I mean? And I'm about to really, I'm gonna play a quick clip and I'm gonna chime on in, but I want y'all to really bear with me in this video.
On the planet, including humans. In a century and a half since Darwin's book, many people still ask, did humans evolve from apes?
All right, let's delve into this whole aspect because the man Charles Darwin, I think this is the 1800s, has said that man evolved from apes. All right. Now I'm about to tap deep into this on a deep spiritual level, y'all, because when you understand the aspect of the ape, you know what I mean? When you understand the aspect of the ape, this is why they want to call themselves the Neanderthals, descendants of apes, because when you understand the aspect of the ape, what the aspect represented with the ape basically represented conquering the primal lower self to reach the high level of the spirit. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm gonna play a clip from Dragon Ball GT when remember all the Saiyans was like descendants of the great ape. They all had the access to tap into that great ape. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tap deep into what this is all talking about. So I'm gonna play the clip once again and I'm gonna chime in.
I'd suggest we run, but I wouldn't know when.
Goku, stop it! This isn't funny!
I don't think he's joking.
All right, we get the point. So basically, what I want to do is tap into that because you know how they say that the ape is the closest animal to human. Now, what's so deep about this and what is so crazy is if you ever seen the film The Kong from Skull Island. Remember now the name Kong don't mean nothing but basically like righteous king. That's all it practically is meaning, like proper king, you know what I mean? In other words, hence why it's called All Hail the King from Kong Skull Island. Now when you understand the whole aspect of the skull, if you're familiar with the Messiah literally was crucified where? In the land of Golgotha, aka the land of the skull. You get what I'm saying? Hence why they use the skull and bones because that represents them basically embracing the whole aspect of crucifying the Messiah. That's what the whole skull and bones is all built off of. You know what I'm saying? And it's real deep on this because what I want to do is I want to tap deep in it with y'all because if you remember the movie King Kong, you remember on King Kong when he first came across the lady, her name was Annabelle. When he first came across Annabelle, remember he was in the wilderness. What did he do? He defeated the T Rex. I'm gonna play the clip right quick, some of it, because I don't want to play it too long, so do the copyrights. But I'm gonna play some of it. But when you understand the elites, they represent nothing but the reptilians. So I'm gonna show y'all some clips. I'm gonna chime in. Broke his neck, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tap deep into this because her name was Annabelle. Now the name Annabelle basically don't mean nothing but the favorite grace. And you remember as it's written in Genesis 6:8 that Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, even though the Most High said that he regretted creating mankind. You know what I'm saying? And that he repented upon himself time and time again for that he said the evils that he was gonna bring upon mankind. But you know, he find grace in the ones who are really loyal and who are really seeking him. You know what I'm saying? And what's so deep about this that I want to tap into is because when you understand, like I said, the ape represents like the aspect of conquering that's why they say the closest thing to human, because it represents basically conquering the lower self and to reach high spiritual power. That's why they say that they descend from ape, you know what I mean? And they literally try to claim that Neanderthal aspect because they want to say that they basically evolved and they became full and they reached peak form on this earth. That was why they used that whole evolution theory with the elites. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna play the clip on the film Lucy, actually, aka hint the name Lucy, reaching. Remember, she reached her ultimate brain power. Hint the aspect of Lucy, and we already know Lucy means what? It's short for what? Lucifer, the bearer of light. That's why she was a female, because you already know the Baphomet utilizes the whole aspect of the transgenderism because that represents the order out of chaos. You get what I'm saying? It's deep stuff, y'all, but I'm gonna play the clip and I'm gonna chime in. Pay attention to this. Notice the finger touch. And then they go into the creation, because all that's representing, even though we know this is all whitewash, but basically all that's representing is nothing but like the God and Adam aspect with the finger touch for creation. So you see, that's why they had to go into the aspect of showing them, saying that they evolved from the ape, because all that represented was them basically saying they come from divine, reaching, go from primal to God. You know what I mean? It's deep stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? It's real deep stuff. Hint, while on the movie Planet of the Apes, we already know Caesar and everything represented nothing. Remember how he basically played that Curious George role? Because when you know the name George anyway, the name George don't mean nothing but the farmer. And as it's written, we plant seeds. But if you remember the movie Planet of the Apes, the first, second, I think it was three of them, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But remember the first one, remember he was like an average ape. Remember, he was like a regular chimpanzee growing up in a household like Curious George. He was basically relying on the his owners and everything to do everything for him, take care of him. Remember when they put him back in the jungle, he tapped into his form. He became a leader and everything like that. And then on the last one, the newest one, he tapped into the high level, man, and took full control. He had language. He was the one to talk. He had language. He had order and everything. Rulership. You know what I'm saying? That represents the whole aspect of Israel coming into their full power. Hence why you see the Statue of Liberty, aka the Babylonian whore, whole statue is sunken in the waters on the first one. That was based on the very first one. But yeah, that's what that whole aspect was about. This is why they want to say they evolved from apes when that's not true. You know what I'm saying? But they just want to claim. See, when we hear them say certain things, we take it and we just look at it, oh, this what they always making. But when they say certain things, everything they say is for a reason, man. You know what I mean? And like it is in the Greek, the word pharmacy don't mean nothing but sorcery. Hence why, that's why you already know they're nothing but the reptilians, because the elites are all like, they're all reptilians. Anyone who go into that oath, you claim that bloodline, man. You know what I'm saying? And hence why you see the serpents around the pole, because when you understand that too, the Baphomet, all that is for Mercury. I'd explain in a minute. But the Baphomet has that on his lap. You know what I'm saying? The two serpents, masculine and feminine. And then when you understand that too, which is so deep, that's why this all symbolizes Mercury, the god Mercury. That's why they say it's the closest planet to the sun. Why they say that is because the sun is light. And what do Satan do? He disguises as an angel of light. Do you get where I'm going with this? You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually about to take it deeper, because you got the trailer right now coming out this year with your boys King Kong versus Godzilla. Hint the whole aspect of the Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? AKA Leviathan, AKA the beast from the sea. I've been breaking this down for the longest about why the Lakers and the Heat played. And then you remember when Kobe died, how they called him the Black Mamba. And then how LeBron had to beat the Heat because that represents the lake of fire. And then basically that represents Kobe being exalted and risen up like as the Son of Man, aka the Savior of mankind, the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to play this clip and I'm going to chime in. Notice Godzilla got the ship, and you see how King Kong is coming, man. You know what I mean? And notice he got the ship because when you understand that anyway, you remember the pirates and all of them always use the ship to explore and to seek out to conquer. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it too, that represents Ra anyway, who's riding basically on his boat. You feel what I'm saying? Like this stuff, it gets deep, man. It gets real deep. You know what I'm saying? Versus the true Messiah, the God, the King Kong, the true King. Remember, I was just talking about the whole aspect of the Golgotha. You know what I'm saying? The Skull King. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get deep, man, is because what I want to talk about too, right quick. Remember Kawhi Leonard? Remember he played for the Toronto Raptors, which is nothing but the dinosaur. And if you remember, before that he played with the Spurs. Remember he beat Miami Heat in the NBA Finals back in 2014. He beat Miami Heat. And then you remember that what that represents, because you know King James, you know what I mean? Remember he was in Miami and then he went back to the Cavaliers. He returned home. All that represented, because what the spur basically is used for is like a device basically used to make a horse go forward. It's like at the end of your shoe, I believe. And like it basically or at the end of their heel, if I'm not mistaken. And basically it's basically used to make them move more precise, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep it short and simple. And if you remember that, LeBron went back to the Cleveland Cavaliers and they call him King James. Now all the Cavalier is basically King Charles, a supporter of King Charles. Because all King Charles was, when you was a supporter of King Charles, who was King James' son, it literally you was called a Cavalier. You know what I'm saying? That's why he had to go join up with Kyrie Irving. And remember, I got that on my Kyrie Irving exposed breakdown. You can go check that out. I'm not really gonna delve deep into it on this video. Just check that video out. It's very deep. But then that's why Kawhi Leonard had to beat the Golden State Warriors. Remember when I was talking about how Golden State Warriors, everybody was getting hurt and everything when he played against them, when he became the Toronto Raptor from the North, representing nothing but basically Satan playing a role of being the highest exalted star in the North. You know what I mean? The North Star. And all that represented was him being basically the reptilian, destroying the Golden State Warriors, represent nothing but basically being refined as gold. You know what I'm saying? And he was the one to bring persecution and destruction against them. You know what I mean? As it's written that the saints shall be overcome, man, by the enemy, but they should overcome him. You know what I mean? But he's going to be waging war and he's going to conquer them for a time. You feel what I'm saying? And what's so deep about that because of the persecution. And that's just not to go off too far, but that's why LeBron James and Golden State was playing each other. You know, LeBron King James versus Golden State for 4 years straight could have represented nothing but going through the aspect of being, you know, conditioned through the word. You know what I'm saying? The Golden State, like the Golden refined 144,000. You know what I mean? In the 1/3. But I'm gonna keep it going right quick because I don't want to veer off too far. But then going into the Ezekiel as well, and then Revelation 4, I want to talk about the four living creatures because when you understand the eagle, you know what I mean. You got the lion, aka Lion of Judah, and you have the living man, the true king, and then you have the bull, the ox. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand that, which is so deep about that, because the ox, aka the bull, is literally called Ka-El, representing nothing, Kara, basically representing nothing but the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? The L is nothing but the bull, like the royal calf, the sacred calf, the sacred ox. You get what I'm saying? And it's so deep because what I want to delve into as well, looking at that, not to veer off, but like when you understand the aspect of the eagle, I put this in my Roddy Rich breakdown, and I want y'all to check this out. It's on there as well, Roddy Rich Illuminati Exposed, and I broke what the whole box aspect is about. But I'm going to mute it due to copyrights, but I'm going to be breaking it down right quick. This whole scene. Like I said, number 7, notice how he got the falcons, and as it's written in Matthew as well, that where the birds are gathered, the birds shall be gathered among Israel. You know what I mean? Because Israel will be as the carcass. You know what I'm saying? That the bird, remember how I said in Deuteronomy 28 that no man shall fray the bird away, because the bird represented the mighty eagle, the all-seeing eagle. You know what I mean? But when you understand that too, it's a duality to that, because when you understand the aspect of how Satan mimics everything of the Most High, the falcon represents nothing but the eagle, like the all-seeing. That's why the Horus and the Illuminati pyramid uses the falcon and eagle eye. It's basically the same thing, you know. But just to go into that right quick, keep it moving. Notice how number 33 is right there in the front row. The guy sitting down with the jersey wearing number 33. And like I was saying too on the video, notice he crossed up 91 as the number 7, because the blue and the red represented nothing but basically him. He got slain, he got defeated the first time through the crucifixion. Not defeated, but basically got crucified, the Messiah, and then he returned to come back for victory. You get what I'm saying? As it's written, he should be mounted up as an eagle, man. Hence why he's in the rim. And like I've been breaking it down too, the whole Urim of the high priest's breastplate represented nothing but like the one who was basically, when you had the Urim on your breastplate, you was the one chosen to give judgments. As it's written, the Messiah is the high priest. Hence why everybody's gathering around him in victory. You know what I mean? That aspect right there is real deep when it comes to the Revelation 4, man, when it pertains to the eagle. And I'm going to keep this thing rolling, because what's so deep about this as well that I noticed, and I was just like, wow, it's because when they do, like I said, how they be doing all of that, you know what I mean? I was just breaking this down too on my time video, Lost in Time. We are Lost in Time. I want y'all to check that out. But I was talking about it like basically Lennox Lewis. Remember, I've been talking about the Lewis stone and Freemasonry is basically representing the Messiah as the foundation cornerstone that they reject to use to build up their world. Hence why it's called the Rumble on the River, and he's fighting Mike Tyson, because all Tyson mean is high spirited. So basically, as it's written, Satan said, I will exalt myself as the Most High. I shall be as like the Most High. Hence why they're fighting at the top of to gain power over the pyramid, because that represents nothing but basically being the one who represent true foundation, true carpentry, because the Messiah is a builder as well, a carpenter, and Satan builds his kingdom, aka the Babel Tower. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is deep, man. That's why they were fighting. That's why they had that fight happen. It was called the Rumble on the River. Come on, man. You got the living waters. You know what I'm saying? Versus the beast out the sea. Hence why Godzilla and King Kong are fighting on the sea. And King Kong is the same size as Godzilla. Why is that? Because all that represents is nothing. Because if you understand the aspect of the Messiah will be strong, he will have fame, and he will be powerful. You know what I mean? And it's the heavyweight, because that represents the aspect of the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? How Satan shall be brought down, man. He shall be casted down to the sides of the pit. That's what the whole pyramid is about. When you understand what's going on. Hence why Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson was fighting each other at the Pyramid Arena in Memphis, Tennessee, like Memphis, Egypt. Because the Messiah should be called out of Egypt, as it is written. You know what I mean? Israel should be called up out of Egypt. We are in spiritual Egypt, man. And hence what that whole aspect is of being at the top. Like I said, the heavyweight, the Messiah is as the rock, the foundation. Hence why Satan said he want to exalt himself high, because the Masons built him to the top. When you at the top, you at the heaviest point. You are the most famous. You have the most weight. You feel where I'm going with this? That's what they do on the heavyweight. That's why it was the heavyweight fight for the heavyweight championship. And then Godzilla versus King Kong is the heavyweight battle, man. It's all in our face. It's just about who can see and who can't. You know what I mean? And it's about the spirit too, because I'm saying, this whole thing, when you understand it, look at Stephen Curry. This dude is literally he's under that oath, man, of the reptilian empire. Dude turned 33 years old. What was it? Sunday? He turned 33 years old, and then his family gave his children gave him the look at the colors, like the tie-dye color with the number 6, aka if you pay attention to that logo right there, that is nothing but the rainbow serpent. So basically, when you understand the 33 levels, all that's basically saying is like the 33 degrees of masonry, and then he had reached the level of the rainbow serpent, which is the ultimate creator, man. Like I broke that down on my Nas. I think I had did it on the the number 13. That's why I called it the number 13 video. I want y'all to check that out. I called it the Pi Day activity, and I put all of this in there. I'm not gonna talk too much on this because I don't want to spoil it. I want y'all to check that video out. But yeah, man, this whole thing right here is all in our face. It's just all about what do you see? Can you see or can you not see? You know what I'm saying? And I just want to end that right there. I really want to tackle on with the whole ape and why they said they became from apes when it was nothing but basically mockery of what the ape truly represents. You feel what I'm saying? Hence why Adam was given hence why we have dominions over the animal, man. In righteousness. You feel what I'm saying? That's why what's in the scriptures why Adam didn't want to be among the animals all day in the scripture context. You know what I mean? Because when you reach a certain level, you want to reproduce. You don't want to stay primal. You feel what I'm saying? This stuff is deep, man. That's why I want one of my own kind. You feel where I'm going with this? So I'm actually going to end this right here. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. Much more is coming. Peace.